So we've been learning about slope, and we know that now slope is a fraction. And what we're going to do today is sort of learn how we can use slope as a fraction to calculate where to place the next point on a line. So we're going to look at pictures like this. Now in this picture, it's telling you that A's distance is 2. So I'm going to go ahead and label that on the picture. It's also telling me that B's distance is -3. Again, I'm going to label that on the picture. C's distance is 4, and D's distance is unknown. The idea here is that by looking at slope as a ratio, as the pattern of how we move between points, we can predict how far down we need to go to get to the next point. So if we look at this first step of the staircase, we have a complete set of information. We know we went over 2 and down 3. So we're going to set up rise over run. On this set of steps, this first set right here, the rise would be -3, and the run would be +2, because the rise would be B, which is going up and down, and A would be the run, which is 2. Now, if we look at the second step of this sort of picture, we know the run is 4, but we don't know how big the rise should be. So if we fill in those numbers, I put the 4 on the bottom because that was the run, and I put the D on the top because that was the rise that I didn't know. This should look familiar because we did problems like this in Chapter 2 where we called them proportions, and we said that to solve these problems you just cross multiply. So you would do -3 times 4, which is -12, and then you would put an equal sign, and you would do 2 times D, which is 2D. Let's make a note that we're going to cross multiply. Next, we would solve this equation by dividing by 2 on both sides. So we would get -6 equals D. Let's take a look at another problem. It's very similar. Use the values of A, B, and C to calculate the value of D that will put all the points on the same line. So I'm going to label these in my picture. A is 1, B is 4, C is 3, and D is unknown. Now I'm going to look at each step separately. So the first step is here, and the second step is here. Because this is kind of like slope, we're going to do rise over run. In the first step, the rise would be 4, and the run would be 1. In the second step, the rise would be unknown, we don't know, and the run would be 3. As soon as you get all of those numbers filled in, we can just cross multiply. So 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times D is just D. And because the D is by itself already, we don't need to solve. We're done. That's actually it for today, this idea of using slope as a ratio. I will see you guys in class tomorrow where we're going to go over this one more time and then do an activity to help us practice. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you then.